Welcome in lacrosse fans to the Utah Lacrosse Report podcast. I'm your host, Tim Haslam. My guest today is John Tilley, who is the founder of Elevate Lacrosse. In this episode, we talked about forming Elevate Lacrosse, his coaching stints at Olympus, Brighton, and Waterford. And also we talk a little bit about Chumash. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned. It's really fun. Anyway, go visit utahelevate.com to learn more. Hope you enjoy the show. This episode is brought to you by Vessel Kitchen. From practice to game day, fuel matters. At Vessel Kitchen, everything's made from scratch with clean, high-quality ingredients so you can recover faster and play harder. Eat well, do well. Welcome to the show, John. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It feels weird to call you John because I've just always called you Tilley, so I'll probably do that.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's what everybody else calls me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thanks for joining me today. Obviously, a guest on the show because of your tie with Elevate, and we'll get to Elevate. But first question I ask every guest is, when did you start playing lacrosse? But for you, a little different. When did you start learning about or knowing about lacrosse?
Okay, so I know I told you I never did play lacrosse, but I did. I did once. Okay, I played in a over 50s game, probably 10 years ago. Okay, all of that equipment and stuff, it drove me crazy.
It is a little daunting at first, putting on all the gear on the men's side, all the gloves and all that. It's a little daunting for sure.
Oh, definitely so. Yes, and then trying to guard somebody that was an All-American. I learned that I don't want to do it again. But I got into lacrosse. My youngest son went to Waterford, and their big sport was lacrosse. And so we thought, well, we better go watch a game. So we went down. I still remember the day vividly. It was a cold April day. We went and sat on the east side of Waterford. It was snowing. The wind was blowing. It was cold. We sat there the whole game, knew nothing about the rules, knew none of the players, and both of us fell in love with the game right then. And so we have been lacrosse fans ever since then.
I love it. In Waterford, one of the unique places to watch a game in the state. I still haven't seen the new turf. I need to get out there. But I remember playing at Waterford back in the early 2000s. And it's just a cool little spot to play lacrosse, watch lacrosse. So,
it is up on the berm. And yeah, yeah, it is a great place to watch games.
Yeah, it's fun. It's awesome. And Waterford, obviously a historic program here in the state. One of the most successful teams there, especially in those early years. They were really, really good. Your son plays lacrosse at Waterford.
Right.
Where do you go next? What does the timeline look like?
So I started coaching when I was 16 years old, coaching baseball, and I did all the sports, baseball with my other two boys, baseball, basketball, track, football, you name it. If it had a ball, we played it. And so then Justin got into playing lacrosse, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try coaching this. So I found out if you want to be a coach, you need to go learn try to find somebody that's the best. And so I went and helped Mike Pappas coach Chumash. Okay. Chumash is the greatest lacrosse game ever, with those first and second grade kids, and just the format of it. It was great. And
so pause there. I highly doubt many people know what that is listening to this. So you're going to have to take a minute to explain it.
Okay. You put like a 6-foot goal, but it's skinny. You put it in the middle of the field. You put a circle around it. And then the boys, they could shoot on either side of the goal. You can't have a goalie. If you cause a turnover, it's just like in pickup basketball. You have to pick up the ball and run to the end line or pass it to the end line, over the end line before you can come back and shoot. And now these kindergartners are playing in full pads. Okay. So their helmets, I mean, it's just fun to watch.
And it's kind of, I mean, just trying to help people visualize sort of what a Chumash goal looks like. It's the ones I'd seen were probably kind of homemade. And
yeah, definitely.
Picture PVC pipe
Hmm.
going up and maybe what, like a foot apart from each other. It
Probably,
wasn't
yeah.
like a full 6 foot
Oh,
goal,
no,
6 feet
no,
tall, but not 6 feet wide. It's more like a
no,
foot. And the goal
probably
is
a
just
foot.
to put it almost like an ultimate or like a frisbee golf
Yes.
uh, basket type thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And no, like you said, you could shoot from anywhere at the goal. Yeah, just fun. So look that up. I'll put a link to it in the podcast
Okay.
because it's a fun sport. And then Mike Pappas, great call out. Longtime coach at Jordan, went up to the University of Utah as well. Where was he coaching when you were with him? Obviously, the first and second
It was
graders,
at
but
Waterford.
okay.
So I think we did 2, maybe 3 years at Chumash, and then I helped him with Lightning. And then I think that's about the time where he got really involved with high school, and he kind of gave that up. So I continued on. I got on the board for the boys youth council and worked my way up from Storm to juniors, and then coached a junior team, coached a Brighton's boys sophomore team. Just worked my way up.
And then your son graduates. Did you keep coaching at that point? Did you take a break from lacrosse? And then eventually, how did you get involved with Elevate?
No, I tried not coaching 1 year, and my wife said no. Get out of the house. You go find something to do. So this was earlier in my career. So no, once Justin graduated, uh, a couple of ladies from Brighton, Annie Herniker and Lori Carpenter, approached me because Annie and her son Joe and Justin played together comp, so we travel around a lot. And they came to me and says, John, why don't you come coach the Brighton girls lacrosse team? And I says, I know nothing about girls lacrosse. And they said, that's okay. We'll hire you some assistant coaches. We just want somebody that's going to be there for a while. So I said, okay. And so they hired me a coach from back east, and I got into the Brighton girls. And uh, that first year, that's when I decided, there's a huge disparity in the talents of the girls. I had three girls that went on to play D2, and then the rest of them were just newbies. Okay, and so I thought we need to, because I saw what it did at the boys game, the club. So that's when I started Elevate. Was 2012. And then I coached at Brighton for 2 years. Then I left and went to Olympus. I was the Olympus JV coach for 7 years. Uh, and then at COVID, I thought, well, I think I am done. But I kind of helped Hannah Thatcher, uh, just whatever they needed, but I didn't coach. And I helped Xana at Olympus. And by then, it had just taken off. And so it's like, okay, this is, as my wife says, this is my hobby. I don't hunt, I don't fish, I get involved with youth sports.
Yeah, and we're glad to have you on the lacrosse side for sure. You talked about coaching at Brighton, a little stint at Olympus, and then you mentioned Annie Herniker. For those who don't know Annie Herniker, uh, vivid memories of her standing on a ladder next to the table in the center of the field because she was and probably still is the best statistician that our state has ever seen. And she would do all the championship games and just great at what she did and loved it. Then you mentioned Lori Carpenter, just a huge lacrosse fan in those Brighton days. I remember Lori very well. And her daughter was really good too.
Yes. Yeah, she
Which
was my first Elevate coach. Ellie was. Yes. Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So you start Elevates, you mentioned sort of the inspiration came from seeing your son play club on the boys side. Elevate now, fast forward now, 14 years later. Did you imagine that you'd see what you're seeing today?
No, not at all. In fact, after the Brighton there in between there, I almost gave it up. It's like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, and I think I might just get out of it. And then Andrew Davies called me and says, John, you want to be the JV coach at Olympus? And so I said, okay. So that's I stayed back in, but no, I had no idea, especially when we're looking at some years we had 17 girls. Uh, and no, to see where it's gone now, uh, I never imagined that.
Yeah. And obviously, it's grown exponentially. And today you've got Top Gun teams and Maverick teams. For those listening who may be interested in Elevate, what's the difference between your Top Gun teams and your Maverick teams?
Okay, our Maverick team is that's what we started. It was more we more do it like clinics, okay, where the girls are there just to improve their skills, okay, uh, and that's why we call ourselves we were a developmental program. We just want to develop the skills, okay. Uh, but then we started losing a lot of those girls that wanted to go travel, and so I wanted to do, but I told, and Melissa was coaching Nash. I don't call her Nash, I call her Melissa. Uh, she was coaching with us, and I said, okay, we'll do a competitive team if you'll coach both Maverick and Top Gun. And so she didn't want to, but then she got married, and her summers became not quite so free. So she said, okay, so that's when we decided. So our Maverick program is just for those girls that they just want their skills to get better. Okay. And then our Top Gun teams are those we travel, we have tryouts, we're competitive. Uh, and we do practices just a little bit different for them. Okay. But we're still there to develop their skills. And so in the summertime, we'll do 2 local and 2 travel tournaments. And in the fall, we'll do 3 tournaments into California and the stick or treat tournament local. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And then, the Elevate program practices at a bunch of different spots along the Wasatch Front. So there's really somewhere someone can go and not have to travel a huge distance to get to practice in the summers. Talk about some of the coaches. You mentioned Nash, obviously the Brighton head coach and BYU women's head coach, which I still think is crazy that she does both. And she coaches Elevate. I'm not sure how. Endless energy. That's how.
she's the Energizer Bunny. Okay,
That's right.
That's when she told me that, she says, John, I'm really worried that I'll be able to do it. And it says, if there's anybody that can do it, it's you. So
100%.
so we have her and Michaela Boyack now, which both of those are my business partners also. So they're heavily involved and committed to Elevate. Some of we have coaches that actually played with us. Okay. Chelsea Owensworth, who's living in Boston right now, coaching at a D2 school, was on our very first Elevate team. And so when she graduated from BYU, she came on. She's been with us for quite a while. Maddie Dibble Roberts. We started a competitive team years ago, but it only lasted 1 year. Maddie was on that team. She is now one of our Elevate coaches. She coached at Alta, but now she is the defensive coordinator at BYU. Our Utah County coach, Haley Harris, who's also a BYU coach, now is that runs our Utah County program. Our North program is coached by Kylie Cash, who is the head coach at Westfield, but she does both Maverick and Top Gun. So she does it 4 days a week. Addie was a Brighton player. She played with Elevate also. She's one of our assistant coaches. Hallie Clark, who back in the very first days of Elevate, when we went to go to a tournament, I had to beg, borrow, and steal players just to get enough. Hallie was one of those. She would always come play in the tournaments with it. because she was a teammate of Kennedy Hatch, who is also one of our returning players who is now a coach. And most of our coaches played with Elevate. I think we kind of pride ourselves in the fact that we try to not only have good coaches, but we try to have a good cultural experience for the girls. Okay. Somebody asked me with our boys program, their question was, are the dance parties for the boys going to be as good as the girls? I don't think so.
They're totally different, right? My
Yes.
my daughter got in the club scene this year and happened to play with Elevate, and going to a women's tournament versus a boys tournament is very different. And
Isn't
neither
it?
one is wrong, neither one is necessarily right, but they're just different. You're right. Spoiler alert, though, John, you beat me to the punch. New this year there'll be a boys team, a boys Elevate team. Talk to us about sort of the formation of that and what led to that.
Okay, so I've thought for many years that I would like to start a boys program, but I was just hesitant for various reasons that I wouldn't really like to get into, but I was just hesitant. But I started thinking about, okay, I think I thought, man, John, you're just being a little bit selfish here. Okay, I mean, you're not doing it for your reasons, and I look at all the girls that we've helped throughout the years, and it's like, why can't we take that to the boys level too? Uh, we've been doing this, like say, for 15 years. It's almost like clockwork. Okay, we know where to get our uniforms from. We place a call, we get the uniform. I know every place to rent fields from. We know how to get insurance. I mean, we have websites that we can do registration. It's all there. We just have to get the boys to come. But we also want them to have that same experience that the girls have had. I think about the boys that uh, they really want to play. They go try out for Club A and they don't make it. So they go try out for Club B and they don't make it. And they go try out for C and D and E and F, and there's nothing left for them. Okay, so what do? They just give up. They just don't play. Or the boys that don't have the financial, or they just don't really want to play competitive club. They just want to go and get better. And so that's why we started the boys program. And I got Melissa and Michaela to agree with me, which they were hesitant at first, because we don't want to become a boys program that runs a girls league. We don't want to become a girls program that runs a boys program. We want to become a lacrosse developmental program.
And you can go to utahelevate.com to learn more about both teams. Talk to us about Scott Hansen, who's going to be coaching that boys team. What can you say about him? I don't recall ever meeting him, so I'm curious to learn more as well.
Many years ago, when Melissa, it was just me and Melissa running the program. I told her, Melissa, we're going to do this. You're going to be in charge of I'm going to be in charge of getting players on the field. You're in charge of them once they get on the field, which means that she picks the coaches. She goes and gets all the coaches. And she's the one that picked Scott because she's known him for many years. He was an SBO at Brighton when she was the SBO advisor. So she's known him, and she was really impressed with him. I had some conversations with him, and he seemed like he fit within the Elevate paradigm as to what we're looking for in a coach. Okay, and we look for people that will do one-on-one coaching. Okay, Melissa says there's the 3 C's that she likes to do, and I can't remember what they said, but I want to know one of them is connect. Okay, at every practice, we want to connect with the players. And so I want my coaches to do a lot of one-on-one, okay, helping with the team. In fact, if you go to a practice, they don't like me to come to practice because I'm right out there in the middle of the 7v7 and I'm talking to girls and I'm connecting and I'm giving them advice and I think that's what you need to do when it's this type of an environment. Okay, is we're not trying to win games, we're trying to improve skills of players. So and Scott agreed with that when we talked with him about that philosophy. He was totally in on it. So
Yeah, and making sure that the boys team has the similar culture as the girls team isn't easy, but you've done your due diligence, you've found what seems like the right person, and so we're excited to see what happens. Again, you can go to utahelevate.com to find out more about all the Elevate Lacrosse offerings, both Top Gun, Maverick, boys, girls, whatever you need, they've got it. John, anything else you want to add? About Elevate.
yes, there is one other thing new that we're doing this year, and that is uh, from on the girls' side. One of the issues that I faced is trying to get tournaments that our Maverick girls can play in. Okay, I mean we have Ski Town, love Ski Town. I've been to every ski
Yep.
town there is. I think me and Nikki are the only two that's been to every one, and uh, and we go to Salt City Classic. Okay, but that's 1st of June, end of July. Okay, there's nothing in between. So we are going to do two local tournaments just for the developmental programs. We don't want travel clubs coming. We just want developmental programs. One is in the end of June, and then will be one in July, which we're co-hosting with Jordan girls lacrosse with uh, Jessica and Andrew Davies. We're kind of co-hosting that with them. That one will be at Jordan High School, and so that's another thing that we've got going on new this year.
I love it, and I've always been a proponent of. It's always seems silly to go to these different tournaments and play similar teams, and when there's plenty of teams in your own backyard that you could play every summer.
Exactly.
Mace thought of this idea a long time ago. I called it. I don't even know if you remember the Sticks of Steel is what he called it.
Hmm.
But his goal is to get together all the club teams and play every weekend, and it never materialized. So the idea of local tournaments where the local teams play each other, I think is really smart. And again, people can go to the website to learn more about those as they come online, and you can register for those at Elevate Lacrosse utahelevate.com. Super excited, John, for the future. Obviously you've been around for a long time, and I love the idea that you and Nikki are the only two who have been to every ski town. I wonder
I
if there's
think
anyone out there that can challenge that. I no one comes to mind, to be honest with you. Maybe Fish, just
I
through
talked to
vending.
Fish. He's not Fish and Sonny aren't quite sure, so we'll throw them
Okay.
in there anyway. Okay.
I like it. I like it. I've probably been to maybe 10, so not nearly as much as you guys, but I just love that, and I love talking history and obviously all the things that you've done for the sport in the state. Want to thank you for coming on, John. I really appreciate it. Again, go to utahelevate.com to learn more about Elevate Lacrosse. Thanks again, John, and we'll see you on the sidelines.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hope to see you there again this summer.